Don't you know what you're starting? But you sure we got the clue how that this we go. Don't you know no more art? And as you look to the horizon, not a cloud, but then stormy weather's go too cold. Seems like it crept up out of nowhere, all around you is not what you foretold. You never see it coming. You see that my mind is too fast for eyes. You're done, but the time it hit you, you're not surprised.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is Dspnews, the unreliable ones. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the newsroom and welcome to the Galtopia News Network, your unreliable source for DSP News. No tagline yet. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest in the studio today. A guest that people continue to ask for, that we need more of him. He needs to be here. He needs to embrace and engulf himself in the gout because he is one of the shining beacons to lead them through.
I don't know if I can handle that much gas.
But he is here. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Asian GTG in the building and whatnot. It's glad to have him behind the news table, if you will. And we also have another special treat for you. The video today being featured will be Mighty D. As you guys know, Mighty D has been a great friend of the channel. And he's just been a great friend overall, to be honest with you. And he's closing in on 4,000 subscribers. So if you guys aren't subscribed to Mighty D yet, by all means, please do. The link to his video will be in the description, and you can sub right through there. And to Mighty D, thank you so very much, man, and congratulations on all of your success and future success moving forward. But not just to Mighty D, but to all Detractors. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here for a special treat, one that Asian GTG picked. So we're here with Mighty D. DSP loses 1,000 subs in one day off Twitch, and the great Machinima Rant. So the 1,000 subs is the result of Emerald 7 coming in, helping Phil out about a month ago, and now all those subs expiring, which is a shame too, because I'd say a little more than half of those subs weren't even used.
Yeah.
So they just kind of sat there, even though Phil's going to get the money for it. So that kind of is a waste. On top of that, as Phil's sub count dwindles, and Mighty D illustrates that, I think right now he's at like 400 plus. Eventually it'll drop into the 3s. And then Phil's fan base will have to scramble to get it back up into the 5s because Phil's a success, and it's all the Detractor's fault that he can't be successful.
They gotta go ask their mama and papa.
Exactly. No, I'm just going to steal credit cards. That's what they're good at.
Sure.
And then the second part of this will be the Machinima Rant. Okay, so, the great Machinima Rant of 2019. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys aren't aware, the Machinima YouTube channel was wiped clean. Machinima itself has been bought out. Keep in mind, Machinima's passed through a number of people's hands lately. I plan to go over the video, or I might do it with Asian GTG, going over Maximilian's video when he was finally let go, which was a good thing for him because he put in a lot of time with Machinima. The company's already going down the drain, so it's probably good he got out when he did. But Phil's going to go on a rant talking about Machinima being thrown around. He's going to bring up about exclusively signing over the rights to his videos to Machinima, which he didn't. If he had, he would have lost it, because a lot of people did, and they lost almost everything. Keep in mind, they've all been paid, it's just they don't have the intellectual property to go along with it. But anyway, Phil decides to gloat, as he usually does at other people's misfortune, even though he turns into a bitch
hey, man.
when people complain about him.
Phil's the all-important god.
He's the lucky one.
He's the bacon god.
Exactly. The great gout deity and shit. Phil goes on a bit of a rant, and then gloats about, they shouldn't have let go of my 6-year legacy.
Legacy?
And look at what happened. Everything with him is a legacy.
Oh, boy.
And because, ladies and gentlemen, because Machinima let him go in 2017, it was only the precursor for for their downfall now.
It was the end. It's the beginning of the end.
End times. Exactly. So
it's the start of Ragnarok itself.
So we're going to go through that. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you guys enjoy the broadcast. Like I said, Asian GTG will be popping in periodically, so hopefully that quenches the thirst of the audience, at least so we hope. And yeah, we hope you guys are just generally having a good day. And let's go ahead and get into cutting this bacon up. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News, always late, never breaking. Unreliable coverage that you can't count on. Oh yes! A GTG, an Asian GTG Network Productions. You guys all know the slogan. We smell a little bit of bacon. Slightly too salty though.
I need some salty tears to go with my bacon.
He likes extra salt. And it's time to watch us work.
Oh! Life is so big.
Apologize for that brief pause there. It was buggy video mechanics. That was on our end, not Mighty D's. Here we go.
And the trees, younger than the mountains, growing like a breeze. Country roads take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia.
First off, I'd like to say that's an absolutely beautiful sight, to say the very least. But
music is great too.
Yeah, music was a great touch. But you also have something to say about that?
I'm saying it, bro. The number on the screen also represents the amount of hair he have on his head. Left.
Certainly not much.
Mountain mama, take me home, the country road.
Now, before we get into the usual stuff,
Now, ladies and gentlemen, at the time that we're recording this, which is on January 21st, he's actually at like 400. He's at like 400 plus subs. So
Jeez.
He actually has less than what you're seeing on screen. His failure is almost complete.
It's a legacy.
It is a legacy of failure, of doubt, and the snout.
Snort.
Snort. Here we go.
very briefly want to address the death of Machinima.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is official. As of today, Machinima has died.
What did you just say?
Your career as a full-time gamer is at an end. Take that, bitches.
What? That's bullshit.
He has passed away and is gone. You might be wondering what the hell I'm talking about. Well, Machinima used to be, at one point, one of the largest management partnership companies on YouTube. It used to be one of the premier companies you wanted to be with if you were going to make gameplay videos for YouTube and you wanted to make money. All right, we're talking back in the day, before you could even just monetize your own gameplay videos, because back in the day, you couldn't. When I started in 2008, you couldn't monetize gameplay videos at all. YouTube would not allow you to. And it wasn't until the era of like late 2010, early 2011 when companies like Machinima were picking up people like me from YouTube as content creators
Who had talent.
and saying, hey, you know, monetize your videos to make money under our network. We'll take a cut, but you're going to make out, you know, being able to make a living on YouTube. Okay.
Okay, so wait a second. Let's actually be a little bit more honest on how his ascent into Machinima actually really happened. So first, ladies and gentlemen, for any of you guys who remember the lore, Phil comes onto the scene, and he initially was had a Google AdSense account, so he was monetizing all his videos that way. Okay, when they were kind of letting you do that, and he ended up getting screwed over. Not really, he fucked himself over. But what ended up happening was his channel was flagged for click abuse, like ad click abuse. So essentially, his Google AdSense was taken from him. Instead of making an appeal to see if he could get it back in a couple years, like most people did, like a lot of people did, he just let it go. So they took his AdSense away, he couldn't monetize his videos, so he ends up running over to Blip. And then, well, we all know about the great catastrophe on Blip with
Hey man, he gotta cook.
with the Nazi pig reign over there, which ended up getting him kicked off after a month and a half. A month and a half, ladies and gentlemen, he couldn't hold his shit together, and he ends up getting booted off. And he had a great opportunity to join Blistered Thumbs, which, as you know, was part of that guy with the glasses. So that could have been a great opportunity too, but he would have fucked that up because Phil doesn't work well with others. But screwed all that up in about a month and a half, then goes back to YouTube. Okay, goes back to YouTube, can't monetize shit, had a beef with Hutch, who ended up moving up and becoming somebody in Machinima, at least in his early lifespan, ends up sucking him off and gets into Machinima. And then eventually they ended up moving him up to the managed partnership. But it wasn't like they recruited him. Oh yeah, come on, Phil. We see what's going on with you, Phil. We love your content.
It's for his talent.
Oh yeah, his talent. We want you to come and join Machinima, and then later on we'll make you a managed partner. No, he went over to Machinima, went ahead and basically begged. He begged somebody who he was in a beef with previously to get him a job. And as usual, as the tradition with Phil Burnell, there's somebody there who felt pity for him and helped him. And I don't blame Hutch for that. Don't get me wrong. I respect it to an extent that this idiot who decided to spurg off on you at one time or another had to come to you on his hands and knees, mouth open, willing to do whatever he could to get a job. And you were like,
Panda?
Well, we'll talk about that later. But and you were willing to help the guy out. You're like, oh yeah, well, you're a piece of shit, but maybe you have some, not talent. Maybe you might be useful later on.
You know, you kind of have to look at him kind of like a rodent. You know, it's kind of strolled up in there. You're about to kill it, but you feel kind of bad. You don't want to get blood all over your floor.
Maybe, but in the tradition of Goblin Slayer, they all get slaughtered. Each and every one of them.
Yeah, even the babies.
Even the babies, sadly.
Anyway,
not really,
you can't trust the babies.
No, you can't. You saw what?
You haven't seen what homegirl got treated?
She-
Turn around, get a rock to the back of the head.
No one told her to flash that kick in front of him. He did what it is what it was. So anyway, so that's essentially how his Machinima story started. Okay, we'll go over that deeper later on. Here we go.
And, you know, it was an interesting situation for me because I had never done YouTube in any expectation of making any money. It was just a hobby that I had done from 2008 all the way through late 2010 and never made a penny doing it.
Well, what do you expect, man? I've been here trapped in my condo for the past 2 years playing this game. I mean, I haven't been able to shave or shower, and I've been surviving on a diet of just goldfish. I lost 20 freaking...
Sounds like he's talking to his penis. Anyway.
It's very,
his personal porker, if you will.
well, I mean, everyone probably saw it.
As it pertains to the reason why that we stopped it here is because Phil always had a donation button and whatnot, and so he can never say he never made a dime off of what he was doing. What he means is that he never did it. He never made a dime. He never did it for a living, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Because he did have a job when he first started YouTube, but he did always have a donation button. That's been called out quite a few times. So he's always been making money, a little bit, but he was still making something.
Oh, Phil.
Lying piggy.
pounds.
And then all of a sudden, my office job that I had worked at for almost 5 years and busted my ass at decided to lay me off during a restructuring. Okay.
Now, that's something that you're going to see is a reoccurrence with Phil, is that every job that lays him off, he has this bitterness against them. Like, for example, when the helicopter company ended up, or the office job, whatever, when that job ended up letting him go, he ends up, right before he moved to Seattle, he takes Panda to the parking lot where the building is at, because the company hadn't actually gone under yet. It was starting to, and people were going to get laid off. And he's out there in the parking lot basically ranting about, oh, I worked for you guys for like 5 years and shit, and you guys let me go, and now look, now you guys are going under. Essentially what he's doing, ladies and gentlemen, is he's trying to live off the basis that, oh, if they treated me better, if they had recognized my greatness, my talent, they wouldn't have gone under. Which is the most ridiculous shit ever.
You know what Drake say? It's all me.
Yeah, exactly. It's all me. But what it really represents, though, ladies and gentlemen, is, in a small way, obviously, because it's not like Phil is the reason why all these companies went down. But it goes to show his path of destruction. Everything he touches turns to shit and crumbles. That's what it really represents.
He don't even need the Infinity Stones.
He don't.
He just gotta touch it and it disintegrate.
And it's done. And see, the thing is he lives by the notion, oh, I outlasted them, so that proves my greatness. But if you really look at his track record, it doesn't show that at all. It shows that everything he touches gets fucked up.
I want someone to make a meme out of that.
If Curse goes down, I mean, yeah, if Curse ends up falling apart, I'm blaming it on Phil.
I want someone to make a meme of that. Everything you touch turns to dust.
I'm sure someone on Twitter will do it. I'm sure. I'll talk to Ghostly Wins. I know Ghostly Wins will probably do it. But yeah, that's what Phil's real legacy is when it comes to being
Panda,
fired.
You touch her and
Cat eventually. Well, Panda got lucky.
I think she escaped.
She escaped.
She escaped the basement.
And hopefully Cat has some type of exit strategy. I'm sure she does.
I don't know. She's sick right now. She gotta make him that food.
Hey man, you gotta go into deep cover, bro. Let's continue.
And when they did, I was basically in a situation where I didn't know if I was going to be able to pay my bills. I didn't know if I was going to lose my condo, who I just bought in Connecticut. Like, it was a really bad situation for my life because, quite sadly, the situation was that I had done all these things for the office job. I had bought the condo near the job and done all these life changes, incurred all this debt for this company, and then they just discarded me. All right. So at the time, I didn't.
Wait. I bought the condo so I could be closer to the job. I made all these life changes.
Incur all these
debts, and they just let me go. No one told you to do that. No one told you to do that. No one told. I mean, he's what, 15 minutes? I think he used to be 15 minutes away. His condo's 15 minutes away from like his parents' house. So, and I would assume it's probably another, what, half hour maybe 20, 30 minutes.
30 minutes, right.
So yeah, so you're saying maybe his commute was probably like an hour round trip, a little more, a little less. But now he wants to blame the job. He wants to blame the office job for forcing him to move closer and forcing him to incur all this debt.
Hey bro,
and
then force him to buy a house closer.
That's bullshit. That's fucking so dishonest. It's ridiculous that you would say shit like that. Oh, let's continue. Silly ass pig.
And at that time, it was Machinima was a very different thing. Let me just clarify. Machinima was a very different company back in 2010 than they were, recently. And there was a couple individuals, one in particular, who I actually had beef with, on YouTube. But after we had kind of squashed our beef, okay, he basically worked for Machinima. This was someone who, again, back in the day, Machinima was so different. If you were a content creator who they liked, they would actually offer you a full-time job at their offices as one of their full-time employees, creating video content for them exclusively for their channels and doing stuff internally. And so his name was Hutch, by the way. I should bring this up. Another major occurrence that actually happened in this past month is that, if you can believe it, Hutch, who works for Machinima, who was one of the major people involved in Machinima, who was, first of all, started off just making videos for Machinima channels, ended up getting hired full-time by Machinima, and moving to LA to work with those guys. He left Machinima, meaning he actually quit his job there, and then he left YouTube altogether, okay? He's gone. He's quit YouTube, okay? And people want to know, what are my feelings on this? Well, as you know, Hutch and I have a spotted history. We originally didn't even have any relation. I'd never spoken to the guy, and I had gotten a Machinima contract way back when. I think it was like late 2009, and it wasn't the partnership that I have now. It was the contract to upload videos to Machinima Respawn. And at the time, I had explained to my contact, gee, I didn't think that this was going to work out, because I do playthroughs, and video game playthroughs, I really doubt they're going to want to see that kind of footage on Respawn. Those are more like montage clips of first-person shooter games. Really has nothing to do with what I do. And they were like, no, it's okay, just sign the contract. And when I did, all of a sudden, I got a second contract, literally, that had all these disclaimers and rules and stuff that I had no idea were going to apply. And I said, that's it. I kind of left a bad taste in my mouth that there was like these hidden terms, okay? And I spoke about this publicly, and all of a sudden Hutch heard about it, and of course this is his livelihood, and he very, actively and vividly made a video defending Machinima, saying that I'm a liar and all this, and I'm wrong, or maybe I misconstrued what was said. The bottom line is, it was a double misunderstanding. I don't think either of us knew exactly what we were talking about. I think Hutch didn't understand that I was talking about one particular program and not another, and we ended up kind of making up and squashing the beef, as they say, and I had a big beef with him.
So, i.e., Phil was presented with a contract, he didn't understand what he was reading, wouldn't go to someone to help maybe interpret it for him, decides to go on Twitter like he usually does, and spout off some bullshit. And Hutch, who works for the company, and who was, I don't know if he was part of their public relations or not, but I know he definitely helped recruit a lot of people in, decided to go out and defend the company because Phil had a misunderstanding. But Phil ends up admitting that misunderstanding, but then say, "Oh, it's both our faults. It's not just my fault. It
can't just be me.
It can't be just me. It's definitely you guys too, and whatnot." And this is the same guy he had to go back on his hands and knees and ask for a job for later. Imagine that. Jesus Christ. So sad.
Then we squashed the beef. Everything was good. And then when all this shit was going on, that was so negative, he basically talked to the people who worked at Machinima and got me a partnership. And it was unprecedented, this happening, because someone who just did like Let's Plays with commentary, we're not getting these kind of partnerships back then. All right, it was mostly people who were like, "Oh, I'm a guru at a first-person shooter like Call of Duty."
Actually, I just thought about it, and Asian GTG actually backed me up on this. Theoretically, he kind of skewed the truth there a little bit, because the only reason why he's with Machinima is because of Hutch, to be honest with you. So it's not like he was with Machinima, he got there on his own, and then all of a sudden Hutch got him into the partnership. He wouldn't even be with Machinima if it wasn't for Hutch.
He had to beg him.
He had to beg him for a job, and Phil has come out later, much later on, and even said that he went to Hutch and asked him if he could get him a job with Machinima. So, yeah. Damn, Phil. Damn, Phil.
On your hands and knees.
Exactly. On his
Like
hooves.
Panda. Oh, yeah.
On his hooves. And pig knuckles. Ask for help.
Watch my video to see, sniping videos and the like. That was the stuff that was getting partnerships and getting popular. I wasn't. So for me to get a partnership like that was way outside the box and something very different than what was expected.
What the?
Because Phil's a unique snowflake. You know what I'm saying? And so certain exceptions are made for him all the time by every company he works with. It's the only way. You know what I'm saying? There's no way Phil could be average like the rest of us.
No.
No, not at all.
I told you, he's a god.
He's a god. Yeah, exactly. He's the piggy god. He's the great bacon god.
Every morning, you hear a snort.
There's bacon on your plate.
And yeah.
Crispy bacon. Extra crispy bacon.
Well, I don't know. Phil, he's kind of
Yeah.
soggy bacon.
Extra crispy spam.
Ew, real salty.
But that's what Phil is?
Processed meat.
Ugh. He literally is a walking piece of processed meat. He really is. He's not a man. He's just pieces of pig that they were able to mold together. God had an off day. That's what happened.
What the hell? I can't get the door open. The hell? I can't get this door open either.
And, the rest was history for a good 6.5 years. Although I have to say that my relationship with Machinima over those 6.5 years was very up and down. Machinima always paid good when I was part of their partnership company, but they also had this program where they basically wanted me to start uploading my videos exclusively to their channels, which I always resisted. I always told them I wasn't interested in becoming someone who wanted to upload videos just to their channels to try to get exposure, that I wanted to kind of stay on my own channels and keep ownership of my own stuff. Because there were contracts that were very lucrative that I could have signed to sign my series over to Machinima and have my videos exclusively on Machinima channels. And I always said, nah, I pass. I don't really want to do that. Plus, let's face it, I always did raw, unedited gameplay while they were looking more for edited stuff. So basically their offer was, hey, if you want to edit a playthrough of yours to have like the best of and upload to Machinima and make it exclusively our content, we would love that. And I basically told them, no, I didn't want to do that. Okay. It was
Now, yet again, the reoccurring theme that, oh, no, I don't want to do that. Now, we were just talking about this just a second ago. What Phil should have done is done some edited videos and just had it go exclusively to them and keep his raw material, the real toxic shit for himself. So that would have been a quick way to get a lick. And
he don't want to do extra work.
That's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to, but he missed out on a really golden opportunity. And then something I'll talk about later on is that when you think about how much Machinima overpaid him over his time with them, at least the first couple of years, he could have made stupid money with them if he would have done it that way. And yet again, because of Phil's laziness and his short-sightedness, because Phil's not going to give a fuck about that anyway because it's all edited content. Mm-hmm. He'll have it on a hard drive somewhere that probably don't work, But he's not going to give a shit about that in a couple years.
Yeah.
And he'll always be able to keep his raw gameplay. And it would have boosted his name up. And so he would have actually broken the 200,000 sub mark if he had done it that way. But as Asian GTG said, he's lazy.
It's too much work for him.
Way too much work, though.
His pig knuckle's gonna be sore.
Hey man, why do you think he goes through so many mouses all the time, bro? It's like them hooves back in those days weren't made for the mouses back in those days weren't made for hooves, bro. They really weren't.
Interesting to be with Machinima as a partner, because at some points they sounded like they wanted to be your greatest ally, and then all of a sudden the company would completely change direction and change exactly what they wanted to be as a company, and then you wouldn't hear from them from a year. And I mean that like. Okay, here's your point of contact, Phil. If you ever need help with stuff going on YouTube, and we're going to have all these exclusive opportunities for you. We're going to fly you out to E3, and we're going to let you see all the games behind the scenes, and we're going to promote your content on the Machinima app, on the Xbox 360, and we're going to do all this great stuff, right? Then within 6 months, everyone who I had talked to at Machinima had been laid off or fired. All of those initiatives had been completely canceled, and the company had decided to make television series. And that's not me exaggerating or making that up. That's exactly my experience with Machinima. Like, they would want to do one thing, and before it even had a chance to get off the ground, it would basically be canceled, and the company would go in a completely different direction. Oh, and by the way, there'd be no communication about it, which was always my main complaint about being with Machinima. They never really properly communicated anything. I didn't even know half the time the people who were supposed to be my contacts were fired or laid off.
All of a sudden, my ad revenue on...
Well, let's jump in with that for a minute. The company was transitioning between different people's hands. And Phil, just because you're a managed partner, you were amongst many people who were managed partnered. And you weren't a priority per se.
There are people who is more popular than you are.
Way more popular than you were. So no one had to reach out to you and be like, hey, Phil, you remember this person, this person, this person? They're no longer here. We're going to redirect you to these people.
But no, he's the golden child.
Oh, exactly. Or like when Machinima took him out to E3 that one year. He could have asked the following year, hey, is it possible you guys can give me tickets? He didn't do it.
No. You gotta reach out. You can't expect them to come to you.
But see, that's the problem, though. He's the golden child, though. You know what I'm saying? Minus Eddie Murphy. Because he would be much funnier if he had Eddie Murphy.
I guess in this case, he's the golden pig.
He is the golden pig. And he expects everything just to be catered to him, and that's not how the real world works. So all of his, most of his complaints, I should say, because I'm not going to say all of them are not valid. But the majority of his complaints is because they didn't cater to him. He didn't feel the need to have to reach out to them. I'm a managed partner. You guys should just be bringing all the good stuff to me. And that's not how that works. That's not how life works. But, you know, it is what it is.
To halves, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pay my bills anymore. I contact Machinima, and Machinima is literally, I'm not even exaggerating, literally treating me like dirt. Like, whatever, we'll look into it, but stop bothering us. That's kind of the response I got from them. That was kind of like, we understand this is important to you, but just stop bothering us. We'll get back to you when we feel like it. And I'm like, what? This is my livelihood. I could lose my house. I could lose everything. I could go into financial ruin because all of a sudden my YouTube revenue just dropped by 50%. And Machinima was kind of like, meh, who cares? And like, that's not the attitude to have when you have people who, especially me, I've worked with them for over 6 years, right? Being a dedicated partner for them, sticking up for them when people told me year after year.
Bitch, you're not Hutch. First things first, you're not Hutch. 2, you put in work, and I use that loosely, and they pay you money. What you do with your money has nothing to do with them. They don't have to worry about that after it leaves their hands. So who the fuck are you to sit here and get mad about, oh, I bought a house, I bought this, I bought that. What is this, the helicopter company or the office job all over again?
Yeah, man.
Dude, you're fucking it's ridiculous, dude.
They manage his money for him.
Exactly. Like, and see, here's the thing. I remember someone making this joke. I think it was Jim on the Ralph Retort. I think it might have been Ralph who actually said this, that maybe for people like Phil who have special needs, if you will. He didn't say special needs. I'm injecting that in myself. Maybe they should have put a portion of his money to the side for him, like they do with athletes.
Probably should.
So they could save it for people who are incapable of dealing with shit himself. But the thing is Phil was like 26 or 27 when he started.
Come on now, Phil. You can't spend it all in one place.
Yeah, you're a grown-ass dude. They shouldn't have to help you manage your money. But yet Phil's like, it's their fault. I had all these things, and were they there and holding your hand when you bought the house, Phil? I know you told them that you bought a house so they wouldn't negotiate your contract that year. You begged, basically. But that doesn't mean it's their problem. even then, during that negotiation, I'd been like, man, fucking piss on this turd. I don't give a shit if he's buying a house. That's not our problem. We pay him, and he puts the product out. But Phil thinks that they should coddle him and shit. If one of you guys, for example, go to work tomorrow and flip the fuck out, and your boss is forced to fire you, he or she may feel bad just because you've been there for a long time, or they may have, been cool with you on a personal level. Maybe they can negate that termination to a suspension or something. But if they can't, they can't. They don't control your actions. Despite how cool they are with you, they can't control your fucking actions. They don't have any of that real, that type of influence. Unlike Phil, who sits there and has some of his people run around trying to gather information on people. Good job, Swaggins. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem. That's the issue.
That's how it is, bro.
Fucking idiot, dude. And yet again, he still was able to make it this far.
Surprising.
No, just maybe, the world is slightly too generous. And I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. It's a bad thing when people like him can take advantage of it. Let's continue.
Leave them because they weren't reliable and because of the things happening behind the scenes that they were doing that were underhanded and bad. And I ignored all that. All right?
You mean, wait a second, you mean like when you, under Machinima's clout of protection, were taking down other people's videos and channels?
Yeah, bro.
That shit behind the scenes? You talking about that, Phil?
Like in the Assassin.
Yeah.
Flag.
Shit, he was like the precursor to Monday Matt.
I said, no, I'm going to be loyal to them and I'm going to stick with them. And I stuck up for them for 6 years. And then all of a sudden, I get treated like dirt. Oh, well, so what if your revenue halved? We'll figure it out when we figure it out, all right? And after 2 weeks of waiting for answers and getting literally no answers whatsoever, I told him, I said, if this is how you're going to behave, I don't know if I want to be, with you guys anymore, because I have to be with a partner network that at least is going to try to get me answers and not just be like, meh. In reality, what I really think happened here is Machinima had no clout anymore. They had no ability to go to YouTube and get any answers because YouTube just told them whatever, we don't care. And they had no clout. So their hands were tied. But being a network, really being mistreated. Let me give you a specific example of what happened. I emailed the former head of the partner program, who I had directly worked with about a dozen times in 2015 and a little bit in early 2016 on issues just like this, whether it was copyright issues, revenue issues, whatever. I got a form letter email back saying this person is no longer with the company, write this other person instead. So I did. And the next day I literally got an insulting email from Machinima saying, you're already in contact with us on this issue. Don't go around us and try to write other people in other departments. We're already taking care of this for you. How dare you? And I was like, who are you to speak to me like that? You're basically disrespecting me because I might lose everything financially. You're not giving me answers. And then when I go to someone who's helped me in the past, you basically treat me like a small child and tell me not to try to seek out help. And that's when I told him, I said, I don't want to work with you anymore. Like, seriously, if this is how I'm going to be treated, I don't want to work with you anymore. And so at that point, I guess Machinima decided, gee, forget it. Since this guy looks like he's going to give us bad press anyway, let's get rid of him. And they canceled all my contracts. They basically said, at this point, we're just going to end all the contracts with you. And I was like, all right, fine. That's kind of what I want anyway, since you guys aren't helping me at all. All right.
Which is a complete mess when you think of a company.
Wait. Okay, so I'll cut into this ham first. So first thing, as it pertains to how he was acting towards the situation, he's sitting there saying, oh, Machinima didn't have any clout anymore, this, that, and third. It wasn't just Machinima. There was a bunch of MCNs that were trying to figure out what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
He was still being paid, ladies and gentlemen. It's just advertisers were pulling out.
Yeah.
And his dumbass knew this. But he's like, oh, well, I don't give a shit about that. That's on your end. I still want you guys to pay me what I'm supposed to be getting paid.
There are hard time on YouTube, where you just don't get the same amount of money that you used to make. That's kind of normal.
It is. And he knows about that. So instead of this idiot planning ahead and putting money to the side for when these situations happen, no matter how few and far between they may be, he's like, well, I don't give a shit about what's going on the business end. I just want my little YouTube, well, not little, but I want my YouTube money, and you guys need to tell me what the fuck's going on. He's already talking to a department which is designated to handle this. He's already doing that. What his dumbass decided to do, because he thought he was so special, was try to pull workarounds and literally go around them. thinking that if he can hit multiple departments, oh, well, Phil Burnell, we need to help him. We need the Darkside Phil needs our help. We need to rally together.
He's the one.
He's the chosen one. And that's not what happened. So they disciplined him. When a bitch step out of pocket, they need some discipline. So that's what they did. They were like, hey, you know,
chill.
Read the script and play your part. We're doing what we can. Calm the fuck down. That would have been a good time for him to go back to Twitch. He already had a managed partnership there, or he had a partnership. All you had to do is get that reactivated, which is what his dumbass did anyway. Instead, ladies and gentlemen, he made the ultimate gamble. He didn't think it was a gamble, but it was. He made the ultimate gamble and lost 3 managed partnerships on 3 fucking channels.
I don't think it's a gamble. I think it's just the heat of the moment, and he just.
But which is true. But I was trying to give him a little bit more credit than he deserves. Yeah. But yeah, no, exactly. You read the rules when you walked into the newsroom. He sat there and gave all that up because he wanted to be right in the moment, and he still wasn't right. He's still a fucking idiot. And then you're not the only one that works at Machinima. And don't make any mistake, Phil. You worked for Machinima. You're not the only one. And who else has 3 fucking partnership channels? I mean, I'm sure people have multiple channels, but who the fuck has 3 partnership channels? And you lost all of that. You know that backlog, that legacy that means so much to you, fucking Phil? You lost all of that. For what? For fucking what?
Nothing. All
that shit got swept by the wayside. Jesus Christ. Anyway, so that's what the situation was. He went over there, and even when they chastised him and was like, dude, we're working on this, chill out, he still made a stink out of it. And then he basically was like, well, if you're going to treat me like this,
I'm going
to leave. And for any company, ladies and gentlemen, you guys know, for any company, if somebody walks into their boss's office and be like, I don't like the way I'm being treated, I want to leave, they're going to be like,
all right, get the fuck out of here.
Quick, fast, and in a hurry. Bye.
One less paycheck for us to have to cut out.
Well, that or there's a better person anyway that they can find. And that's what. But Phil thought, oh no, Darkside Phil, don't leave us. We need you in your raw, unedited content. We need all of it. You know what I'm saying? Completely raw and uncut. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, bro, he don't upload to their channel.
Straight out the womb. Straight out of YouTube's womb. Uncircumcised. We need all that. We need it. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
He is the one.
Jesus Christ.
I talk to them might be a different rep or a different person or even a different method to contact them because they keep restructuring and changing their damn company. It was a big mess. Okay, it really was. I'd probably say the best times I had with Machinima were the times when, number one, that ad revenue was so good on YouTube that they gave me a raise. And basically, there was this one crazy year, I think it was 2011, when I first signed with them. I made an insane amount of money in 1 year.
It's true!
Like, more than I ever would have fathomed I would have made being silly YouTube Let's Plays, alright?
And then the bubble kind of burst, and by the end of 2012, they had to lower everyone's pay. Then they did it again. Then they renegotiated the contracts. It was like a mess because they really didn't know what they were doing with their money. In addition to that, Machinima, again, because they always had this identity crisis, they always had to seek funding from other companies. So first it was Microsoft, and that's why they made their Halo series that they made, some Halo television series. Then it was YouTube themselves funded them. Then they ended up getting bought out by Warner Brothers. Like, they just kept getting money from other investors and getting bought out by other companies. They never actually were able to be self-sufficient. So they were kind of always living on bided time to begin with, and it was just a really odd thing. The best times I ever had with Machinima, like I said, was the year when I got money. Also,
ladies and gentlemen, Asian GTG wants to give us some of his that Asian spiced ham. Go ahead.
I hope he know. Like they invest in those companies invest in Machinima for a reason. They are basically their sponsorship. You know, like, and why are you complaining about that?
Especially since you benefited from it.
Yeah.
And more importantly, Phil, when we talk about, oh, they were never self-sufficient, yet you were still catching a paycheck, but you're not self-sufficient.
Hey, man.
You theoretically have investors. You know what I'm saying? And you've had them in multiple levels. You had people who were donating to you, Phil. Then when you're able to monetize your videos, you had people who were clicking ads.
Yeah.
And then you have people who were just showing up to your video, hitting, the video over and over and over again. Or when ads started coming, clicking ads too. Now, you literally have people who show up to your streams every day to give you money.
It's a hierarchy of, of people investing in each other, basically.
Basically, the thing is though, Phil, is there's no rate of return on you.
But no, man, he just gotta sit there and self-sufficiently make money.
But he's not self-sufficient. He can't sustain himself. He's
with his raw content.
With his raw content. That's
the only raw thing that cat's ever gonna see.
For her sake.
For real.
For her sake. But like, it's almost hypocritical to hear him say the shit he says when you yourself have depended on people your whole career.
Like, you really don't understand the business side of things.
But yet he has a business degree though. And he was former valedictorian.
What school is this?
I have some shit up in Connecticut somewhere.
I don't have to complain to them.
People already have.
Jesus Christ. Take your degree back. It's not being put to good use.
It's not. And I understand that people are like, oh, well, Phil has moments of clarity. He does. Quite a bit. But then he realizes that, oh shit, this is kind of making me look bad or making me look like a hypocrite, like what my detractors and haters and trolls think, or what they usually say about me, so now I gotta flip it. It's almost like he's willing to sound stupid.
Bitch!
It's almost like he's willing to sound stupid to get his point, to make himself seem right. And that's scary.
That's sad.
That's scary. See, Phil, scary and sad. You're familiar with the SS. You know what that's all about.
Yikes.
Devil pig. Nazi devil pig. Nazi's devil pig zombie.
Well-cooked bacon.
Well, he's not even bacon anymore.
Oven smoke.
Oven smoke spam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say the year when they sent me to E3, and then I would say the late 2015, 2016, when they actually provided me with a lot of games as review copies. They were basically providing me with games to play for free, and constantly were contacting me on, would you like this game, would you like this game? And games like Rock Band 4, what was the second one? Rise of the Tomb Raider? Yeah, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Star Wars Battlefront 2. I think there were like maybe 5 or 6 games they actually gave me for free. Oh, Fallout 4, that's right, if you guys remember, they actually provided me a copy of Fallout 4 a day early. So I was actually able to play it a day earlier than I normally would have been able to.
And I got an amazing backlash from people in the comments saying, all you care about is YouTube views, why are you telling us this? This has nothing to do with us, you've sold out, all you care about is money. To which I was like, whoa, why did I get that response? I'm in a position where YouTube is my livelihood, I make money on every video I put out, and people know this, and I'm doing pretty well for myself, that a lot of people are taking things that I previously would have said and taking it in a different light, okay? And I understand how that can happen. I absolutely do. And I apologize for anyone who's misconstrued something that I said, because I'm not all about the money. I don't feel I'm a sellout, and I don't think I'm always talking about making money or views or complaining about that or anything like that.
And it was weird, because again, at these times...
So you don't always complain about your sub count, your views, how much you make each month. How you gonna struggles this month to scrap by, how you not gonna be able to afford the pig slop. Alright, Phil, that's whatever, man.
Now, the funny thing about all that is even back then he used to bitch about views, which obviously means money. The thing is, Phil, is why were you even entertaining any of that stuff? Yes, you do this for money because you just said it's your livelihood. Mm-hmm. You depend on this to pay your bills. So if you get a game early, which you did, Phil, now you try to change history up and like, oh no, I don't believe in that practice, though you directly benefited from that practice for years. You want to sit there and say, oh, I don't believe in that, I don't do this, that, and the third, I'm not really doing this for money. Yeah, you are. This is you're doing it for a living. You don't have a job where you get up.
It's your full-time job.
Your full-time job, yeah. You don't have a 9 to 5 that you go to. You're not commuting anywhere except for DSP Trizits, which that in itself is an interesting story that we'll go over later on about how much he was making off DSP Trizits. Because now he's saying, oh, I'm making anywhere between $50 and $200 an episode. He did like almost 200 of those goddamn things. He was making probably more than that per episode, if I had to guess. But
if it's pulling views,
if it was pulling through views, and he was making ridiculous money. But anyway, it's just Phil being hypocritical yet again. Yes, you did this for a living. Yes, this was your full-time job and your livelihood. Why are you upset about these people saying that you sold out? You're worrying about this public persona, and that don't mean shit.
Yeah.
Because those who, like you said, Phil, those people who know will understand.
Yeah.
And
you don't even have to acknowledge it. Just move on.
Just move on. But he can't. He can't.
He got to air out all his
grievances.
Yeah.
Because he has nothing else. I think, just like now, he didn't have anything interesting to talk about in life. He wasn't like Wings, where Wings had stories and shit like that. Most of Phil's stories were lies anyway. Most of them, not all of them, but most of them anyway.
Times. It was great. I had a great direct point of contact with the company. People who were active and positive and wanted to work with me for me to put out good content and whatever. And then all of a sudden they all were laid off. I'm not even kidding you. Like after that time of 2015, 2016, the next time I needed to talk to them was early 2017 during the YouTube adpocalypse. Everyone who I talked to had been laid off completely from the company. No one was employed. And they said the only way I could talk to them was through an automated log system.
But that's what I mean. You can tell when a company has absolutely piss poor, terrible management, when the company cannot consistently make itself be anything. Is Machinima a company to provide video content to the internet, to YouTube? Are they making their own original content? Or are they a company that signs people to create content for their network? Or are they a company that partners YouTubers so that YouTubers can make money putting gameplay videos out on YouTube on their own channels? Or is Machinima a company that flies people out to E3 and advertises game launches? Or is Machinima a company that makes B-movie television series? And when your company is so ripped apart and diversified and never has a main focus, it can't succeed. You eventually...
That's not necessarily true. He does realize that it is diversity, but what he doesn't understand, and he did this on purpose, is some of that stuff is he purposely separated to try to show how almost combobulated they were.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, when they were sending his ass to E3, you do playthroughs. So you going to E3 and giving impressions on the games that you saw there benefits you, especially when Machinima at the time had they almost had like a G4 type show that talked about that, which directly kind of benefits into you. They bring the gaming news, it ends up trickling down to your dumbass, and then you end up playing the game, and then it kind of becomes a reoccurring circle.
Because in a sense, you are the one who will, basically promote the game.
Yeah.
And people are gonna want to watch other people play it to get their first impression.
So do you see how that works, Phil? They basically talk about the game, talk about its ins and outs, and then they go within the same company, within the same under the same umbrella, if you will.
Yeah.
They go to you, who has the raw gameplay, to watch those gameplay videos, or they go to someone who wants to put a little bit more effort in and go and watch the edited playthroughs. Or
it's different department within the company.
Exactly, but Phil don't get that. He don't understand that, and it's because of his lack of mental diversity. He didn't understand how the business worked. And it's funny, Phil, because you're supposed to be doing gameplay videos. So what the fuck is Project 7?
I don't know.
Why are you doing a live action kind of skit type show?
Hey man, but he sounded really salty about not being fly out to E3 the next year.
Because he didn't ask. And yet again, they don't have to cater to you. So despite all the different changes that Machinima made, whether over time or because of the new ownership that picked them up, they were constantly trying to tap into something new. You're not going to go nowhere by doing the same fucking shit. I need to really stop cursing all extra like that.
No, it's fine, it's fine.
Yeah, I know it's fine. You can't go anywhere doing the same crap over and over and over again for years on end, and that's what Phil wanted.
You're just staying stagnant
exactly
the whole time.
But see, that's the reason why he's at where he's at now. Because all those years on YouTube, he didn't want to move from the raw uncut Let's Plays because it was easy.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to give it up, and he was rewarded early with it because it was one of the few people that were doing it.
If you want raw stuff, just leave it on stream, on Twitch stream. That's where all your raw content can go.
Exactly, but he didn't. But that, like you said
just
earlier,
have your archive over there.
But like you said, it's too much work, and he doesn't even leave his archives up anymore. He's too scared. So, just continuing the peel this what's that that thing that we had that one time where it's like the crispy pork skin and then you have the slow roasted pork.
Oh yeah, it's like a whole crispy skin roasted pigs.
Yeah, like roasted pig with white rice. That shit was delicious.
It's good, man.
And that's exactly what this is, basically. Slowly but surely peeling them back layer by layer.
I don't know, he's not a good pig.
He's not a very good pig. Shouts out to 402 Thunder.
It's too much fat.
Exactly. And shouts out to Pusha T, too.
Actually have to sit down and say, okay, this is what we do, and this is what we're good at, and this is what we need to focus on. And they never did that. They just kept bringing in new management. The company kept fucking restructuring and destroying itself from the inside. All right. So if you're wondering why are we talking about Machinima today, as of today, the company is dead. They were bought out by a company called Otter Media. So basically, they were bought out by Warner Brothers many years ago, like 3-4 years ago. Warner Brothers never did anything with them. like maybe had an initiative for one television series and then said, wow, this company sucks, they're not doing anything, and sold them to some company named Otter Media. Well, Otter Media decided, we're just going to delete all the videos ever. So all the videos that were ever on the Machinima channels are gone. They've all either been put to private or deleted. And no one can access over 10 years of content that was exclusively contracted to be on Machinima. So just think about that. If I had accepted all of those offers that Machinima had given me back in the day to create content exclusively for their channels, all of my work would permanently be lost to the internet, because I would have signed over legal rights to that content to them, and the content would be deleted. And that's what everyone right now is saying.
Now, I want to inject this in just because I'm not quite sure yet, so I'll have to look it up. But I think when those different content creators signed over the rights of their content over, that's only for a set amount of time. It's not like that's a permanent end-all be-all type deal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because remember, ladies and gentlemen, all this stuff is under contracts. So after a while, like most of those people, at least in the early years, their contracts are all done and over with. Even
they probably move on to other things.
Look at Maximilian, for example, who was with Machinima forever. His later projects, those really big ones, those weren't under the Machinima banner, even though he was part of Machinima. And I don't even know how many of his videos are even over there on the Machinima YouTube channel. Most of those channels, like I said, whether the YouTube channel dies or whether the contracts are up, and if they didn't renew, then they just remove them off the channel anyway.
Because other people make content exclusively for Machinima while they have their own content on their channels.
But yet they still have contracts protecting and dictating how long Machinima actually has the rights over that content. This
Machinima is a partnership to help out YouTuber basically get exposure.
But you see how Phil's twisting it though and trying to make it sound like, oh, they're out there just to exploit us for our content and that's it.
They want his content.
Shit.
His gold content.
Really? It's funny because Cat nor Panda wants his content. That's why one's with Jim and the other one's with Let Me Call on Tyrone.
I think at this point it's Tyrone, Maurice, shit.
Ricardo.
Alright,
let's continue.
All these series like Arby and the Chief, there was this Sonic the Hedgehog series, Battlefield series, all the Inside Gamings and Respawn Entertainment shows. All that stuff is completely gone, deleted from the fucking internet completely, never to come back. So, goddamn, that's pretty messed up, right? Seriously, like that's terrible. And I feel for anyone who has worked for Machinima and that was your work, and now your stuff is gone because the company basically ran themselves into the ground, and now your stuff is disappeared from the internet. You know what I mean? Oh, wow. Oh, my God. I'm so mad. Oh, I'm jizzing in my pants.
That's what you get. That's what you fucking get, bitch. That really sucks. But there's a saying out there, folks, that things happen for a reason. And when basically I had my falling out with Machinima in 2017, it was very abrupt and very unexpected. Here's what happened. So in early 2017, after being partnered with them for over 6 years, the YouTube adpocalypse happened. This is when YouTube ad revenues literally went from like what they were to about a third of what they were. And I was like, God damn, there's no way I can even pay my bills with this kind of a revenue drop. So I contacted Machinima, and they basically insulted me and talked down to me and said, basically, you just wait for an answer, we'll work on it, don't worry. And I'm like, how can I not worry? This is my livelihood. I need that money to pay my bills. You need to get me an answer. You can't just leave me hanging as if I'm some kid and this isn't some big deal. This isn't some side hobby where I make $10 a month. This is, how I pay the bills of my house. And you need to get me answers. This is insane that this is happening. And I went out of my way to kind of contact the other people who I talked to over the years at Machinima, and all of them came back to me. These people no longer work here. They're fired. Forward all email correspondence to someone else. So I did. Then I got yelled at by Machinima. Why are you emailing people in the company? You shouldn't be doing that. You should just be waiting for an automated system to respond to you. To which I said, who are you to talk down to me like that? This is my livelihood. You guys have been a week and a half. You haven't given me a single update on what the hell's going on. And I need answers from you. And if you're going to treat me like this and tell me I can't try to seek help to pay my own bills and keep my house, then I don't want to work with you anymore. This is disrespectful, and I think that you're completely out of touch with what you're doing as a company.
And then they decided to sever my partnership and said, well, all right then, so be it. Not again, you asshole. That's the end of it. So basically, it was a really bad, disrespectful situation where they didn't want to help me. They didn't want to get me any answers. They didn't care for the fact that I might lose everything and lose my livelihood and lose my house. They didn't care. And when I finally put up a stink and said, I need to talk to someone who's actually going to give a crap, they just basically dumped me.
Remember the good old days when you could I will fucking deck a bitch.
Yeah, it was funny because someone on Twitter argued me. Why did
She say deck a bitch or deck this dick?
It sounds the same to me.
Yeah, it sounds right. Shouts out to Panda.
you tweet about this? This is so disrespectful and stuff. You know. Well, guess what?
You can find her where?
On black.com, bro. Where do you think you'll find her?
Black.com.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
The bottom line is the people who helped me out, like Hutch and other people who worked
Cat more than likely will be there eventually. Yeah.
With Jim.
With Jim.
within the company. I'll even give a shout out. Chris, I'm not going to say his last name. This guy named Chris, twice. Once when I went to E3, and then later on he became the head of the partnership program. He helped me out tremendously over the years.
Wait. So this is me just being an asshole about it, but I want to point this out. I want to give this guy a shout out, and I love how Phil tries to make shout out sound like it's some really big piece of effort on his part, which it's not. Which Chris, Phil? You mean Chris, who was one part of the two-man team who helped build your computer and your website? We talking about like which Chris? You know a bunch of Chris's, Phil. A shitload of them.
You don't want to give the last name.
So sad. I mean, it's probably good that he doesn't, because Phil will ruin his life like that.
No one wants to be associated with a pig.
Not at all.
Anymore. They were either laid off or fired. I don't know what the truth of the matter is behind the scenes, but they're not with the company anymore. So the people who did me right aren't there anymore. Why would I be like, oh, I'm so grateful? You know what I mean? This company mistreated the people who treated me right. So it's really just a terrible situation all around. And as they say, maybe better that I left the sinking ship. Because here's the thing. It really was my departing from Machinima that turned me into a full-time streamer. When I left Machinima, I said, I will never keep things afloat the way things are at this point. What I need to do is diversify myself and try to find something else. And that was when I basically became a full-time streamer with Twitch. I remember I severed my partnership with Machinima and I came over to Twitch and I started playing Breath of the Wild. And that's when things like jumped over here on Twitch and my following jumped and people started contributing. And things have been good ever since then, right?
Stop. Okay, first things first. Phil, you severed your contract. No, you were fired. You were fired. You didn't actually quit. You fired. You're fired. You try to gamble on the fact that if you threaten to quit, maybe they would, somehow bend to your will.
He thought that he's one of those employees where they can't replace,
Exactly, and you're not. So that was the end of that. The iceberg analogy.
Oh yeah, he was saying he gotta leave the sinking ship early. I don't know, man. He's the iceberg that's sinking the ship.
Yeah, he's the iceberg.
I mean, he's not willing to put out any content for them.
Nope.
So what are you getting paid for?
Yeah, what good are you? And then your content wasn't even good enough for the amount of money they were paying you. You've even admitted it. So, I don't know.
Essentially, what are you contributing to the company?
Nothing, to be honest. Like, you were essentially getting paid to do the same lazy content year in, year out.
You're getting fly out to all these early game for what? Like, you're not doing them any benefit.
Nope.
At that point.
And then after the playthrough's done, the game's just discarded anyway.
Yeah.
So, and then we give away empty boxes.
Sadly.
So that's the first thing. Second thing is you Phil said, oh, I had to do what I had to do to keep myself afloat, so I had to diversify. So did they. They also diversify too, but yet you look at it as a negative, but when you do it though, oh, I'm being progressive. This is me expanding.
I don't know. So he doesn't understand it. It's a two-way street.
There's no way that there's not something wrong with him. Don't be wrong. We all have like small quirks and shit, but there has to be something wrong with him to think that. And I don't mean from a joking standpoint or the guy is just a blatant idiot. No, like there's something wrong with him that he can look at the world this way and be okay with it. Now let's continue.
I guess things happen for a reason. It's a good thing I left the sinking ship, because if I had stayed with Machinima and still stayed as a primary YouTube focused guy, all the opportunities and things that I would have missed out on, I never would have had chill streams. I never would have had special events and things looked into games that I never had before. I still would have been focused only on YouTube content creation, and we've all seen how bad YouTube has gotten over the past 2 years in regards to the toxicity of the website, the ad revenues plummeting, all the issues they've had. Imagine if I was still only YouTube focused. Okay, can you believe that? I mean, That would be absolutely awful. So thank God that it happened when it did. It almost seems like that was the right time for that to happen, because the last 2 years I've been able to recreate myself as a live streamer
and become something different than what I used to.
Become something different? As in what? Okay, let's break this down. Let me tell you what your life's like, Phil.
The raw content's even raw.
Raw. Yeah, it's spoiled. Yeah. It's slowly but surely spoiling. So basically, you're doing the exact same shit that you used to do at home in front of your TV, except for now you have a mic, which makes you sound worse. The mic it's not necessarily the mic's fault, but it makes you sound worse. You got some soundproofing it's nothing. It collects dust. It's your personal dust collector. And then there's you. All you're doing is the same raw, uncut gameplay. It's just now people can see you on stream. You're just as silent, if anything. Some people debate, myself included, that you actually gave more commentary when there was no webcam or whatnot. When it was just you and the TV and your camera, you actually put more into it than you do now. So that's the first thing. Your content is garbage. It's progressively gotten worse. Your gameplays have progressively gotten worse. Secondly, what real benefit of this transition that you did 2 years ago has really come about? All you're doing is figuring out more and more ways on how to rip people off.
You start doing the same thing.
Yeah,
different tricks, same thing.
Exactly, same trick. Yeah, different trick. Yeah, different trick, same shit. Yeah, different trick, same shit. Yeah. So, like nothing. Different trick, same shit. That's theoretically accurate. Okay, I'm splitting hairs here, but the point being is you haven't really evolved. The scheme is different, but other than that, it's still garbage. And the fact that I've gone from being a full-time YouTuber to a part-time streamer to now transitioning to a full-time streamer, who talks like that? Who illustrates themselves and articulates themselves like that? And thinks that that's a rational representation of what they do. It sounds to me like you really don't know what you're doing. It sounds to me like you heard what other streamers said, and then you just picked what was best for you, and then made it go, and then ran with it. But it doesn't make a lot of sense. And unless you're talking to kids who don't know better, and frontal lobe hasn't fully developed yet, that's the only way it'll pass.
Only way, bro. Only way.
Let's continue.
In my opinion, better for the better. I'm more mature. I'm more open-minded. I have much better interactions and situations now with my viewers.
Yes, Mr. Dollop, this is very interactive. I'm reading all of your reactions, and sometimes I will respond to what you're saying. It is very interactive, except for people who whine and complain and bitch like little babies. Phil's not reading everything I say. Relax. Relax.
I listen to feedback. Things are just, overall, in my opinion, much better now than they used to.
And I should say fuck you to the customer service person who at the very end there treated me like shit and disrespectfully. And, I guess sometimes karma bites you in the butt because you were so nasty to me and now you have no job. So, I mean, maybe you should have been a nicer person.
So, yeah, you're being disrespectful to me. So now you don't have a job. Now you don't have an income. Now your house, your bills, putting kids through college, I don't give a shit about that. You should have been nicer to me.
I hope you know that you kind of disrespect them first. Not even kind of, you straight up disrespect them first.
Exactly. And that's why you got shitted on Twitter, and that's why Phil ended up retracting all of this, well, most of this. He ended up retracting it because he's like, I was taken out of context and whatnot. People on Twitter didn't understand what I was saying. What about the people on your pre-stream who called you out for that?
No, man.
There's nothing funny about someone losing their job. You know what I'm saying? And at least for the person who probably deserves to be put in a position where he's forced to work, like yourself, that would be funny because you have it coming. But look at how you treat other people. And really, that one woman deserves to lose everything because she treated Darkside Phil wrong. You didn't say anything when the FGC was gangbanging you on a regular basis. You don't say shit about that because you're too scared. But this one lady at Machinima, this one faceless person who you feel stepped out of line when she thought she was speaking to an adult, that one person who got out of line with you, she deserves to lose her job.
I know, she was talking to Piggy.
Exactly. That's karma. It's fucking insane.
Not treated me with such utter disrespect at the end there to try to get me to just shut up, treating me like a little spoiled brat instead of understanding it was someone losing their livelihood, and you probably should have been nice to me and actually tried to help instead of being a complete dickhead to me, which you were. So.
All right, let me go ahead and bring this in so you guys can get a better look at it. Yeah, Asian GTG is right. They had a bunch of people. They had probably thousands of people who were asking the same questions.
Yeah.
But Phil Burnell needs to have his answers first.
Nah, man, he's the important one.
Look at that shit. And here's the thing about Phil. He's just petty enough to keep track of what Machinima's doing, so he can have it.
He woke up every morning,
and he
with a cup full of grease, bacon grease.
He bathes himself in it. That's how he keeps his skin moisturized.
No, he just drink it.
Ugh.
And then he pulled up Machinima channel and like, when are they gonna go down?
He's been slowly but surely waiting to flap to that. Jesus Christ.
He just slowly slat himself with the grease. Like, I'm waiting.
And like I said, he wrote this tweet thinking that it was funny. And he did the same thing with Blip TV too. I don't know where, I'll have to look for that tweet and whatnot. But I'm not planning on going on Twitter today though. I don't know. Well, I'm sure one of us will find it. But like, to take enjoyment by seeing other people in a bad spot kind of represents what Phil is.
Like, you're being as much a hypocrite as a hypocrite can be. Like, you're talking about how you should be nicer, other people should be nicer to you, but you're basically doing the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
So you're really no different.
And doesn't want to get condemned for it. Yet he's the one who has taken like 15-year-old selfies with his fucking forehead and shit. Yes, Phil. Just giving people a target.
Yeah.
As if the one on Cat's forehead isn't big enough. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. That was the greatness of Mighty D, so thank you very much to him.
I like the cat pictures.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts in closing, sir? What is your takeaway from all this?
As usual, Phil is as he didn't want to be called, a spoiled, whining child. I guess in this case, a piglet.
Mm-hmm. Who was upset when he was cast away from Machinima's teat.
I'm upset.
Very upset. And he just squirmed about it. Like, it's really kind of pathetic, to be honest with you. And it shows, ladies and gentlemen, amongst all things, that he has people out there looking up Detractor's information, so if any of them ever try to show up to the streams, they can get shot down.
But then, at the end of the day, he don't have the balls to, even admit it and just stick with what he say, and decide to, back out the next day.
Getting people's videos flagged behind the scenes, doing all this silly shit. At the end of the day, he's still that 15-year-old coward and whatnot who's mad about a doll. Who's mad that all the people who wronged him, from Mommy and that Wolverine toy, or figurine I should say, all the way up to every job he's probably been let go from, every person he's ever been in the business relationship or partnership with who ended up leaving him for better pastures. As long as he feels that he can outlast everybody, he thinks he's successful. Well, if that's the case, then just like his 10-year legacy on YouTube, it's not worth anything but to you.
Nope.
It has no real inherited value. Just because you outlast somebody else doesn't mean you're successful.
I mean, you're still scrapping by.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it means your time hasn't come yet. So then, Phil, when your time finally does come, then what? Should we all have a major celebration on the downfall of Phil Burnell from YouTube and Twitch?
Right now, we're gonna feel bad, but it's just gonna end quietly.
Pretty much. And then I'm gonna be like, hey Phil, you might want to go back to this video and go and get yourself a job. So go ahead, take yourself a shower, get a shave.
Probably ask a company out there who's still willing to take you in.
I mean, I'm sure there's somebody that's willing to take him. It's just, it won't be at the money that he's used to making. And to be honest,
I don't know if he's gonna be able to use that business major.
Oh, it's outdated.
Yeah.
It's definitely out fucking dated. But well, that's what the future has to behold to him. So you would think he'd have a little bit more humility moving forward. Because your time's coming, Phil. All of our times are coming. You know what I mean? Everybody, no one lasts forever. So you should be a bit more appreciative of what the situation is. But you couldn't be a decent human being for even a second. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of that for us. At least pertains to this video. You have anything else you want to say in closing? See, the gout doesn't feel so bad today.
No, it's pretty cold.
It is pretty cold, though. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening in. This video is not going to go up today. It'll more likely go up tomorrow. So look out for that. We had 2 weeks of 5 days straight. I don't know if that was too much or too little. I'm not sure. But we'll probably try to go to like a 4-day type situation, like every other day, or we'll go back to 5. It'll kind of, just jump back and forth. And hopefully you guys will catch a little bit more of Asian GTG at least once a week or once every other week.
What you think of the premiere stream thing.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, speaking of which, so for any of you guys who were there when G Money was making his first debut video on our channel and being welcomed into our GTG team, we did a premiere stream for that, and I saw it, and it was I kind of liked how the interaction was going and whatnot. So I ended up premiering, I think, my next news broadcast like that. So expect something like that to happen periodically. So I think that'll be kind of a fun type of thing. Most people are like, "Oh snap, GTG is live." I never really looked at it as a live stream, but I guess it kind of is.
I mean, you answer in the chat.
Yeah, I guess maybe that gives it a bit of live streaming aspects of it.
I know, like the video be playing, but you're not talking live. You're playing the video, but then you'll be, answering comments in the chat.
Yeah. So I guess we'll do a couple premiere. We'll do a couple premiere broadcasts like that, I guess.
I pop in the chat right now and then.
Yeah, and then we'll go from there and we'll make that work. It should be fun, to say the very least. And yeah, I hope you guys just enjoy your day and everything that entails and whatnot. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dspnews, always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. Oh yes, a GTG Network Productions. I am your host with my co-host slash anchor slash co-anchor GTG and Asian GTG, and I'm signing off. We're signing off. And the broadcast. By the way, I will leave links, or I will have actual notations in this part of the video. I'll try to, or at least in the last 10-15 minutes of the first episode of the Gentleman's Club that I had the pleasure of doing with my boss over there at the DIA, Agent Proper. Sorry. So look out for that, as well as I was on the Jackal's Lair with Cyberwolf, Dante Crisis, obviously Jackal, G Money, myself. I think there might have been one more person on there, maybe two. My apologies if I missed them, but they're a bit longer, but I think they're both great watches, and I think you guys would really enjoy that. So I'll make sure I have both of those in the description. Speaking of which, Agent Proper said that congratulations being promoted to agent. So you have that.
Nice.
So good shit.
Oh, and I want to shout out your boy for the Dragon Balls and.
Oh yeah, shouts out to Jackal's Lair for sending us the who obviously has one of those podcasts, who went ahead and sent us movie tickets to see Dragon Ball Dragon Ball Broly? Super Dragon Ball Z Broly. So good looking out on that, and expect a review on that
sometime.
Yeah, sometime coming up. So that's kind of cool. Also, one more thing, and then I'll let you guys go for real this time. Expect to see a couple of reviews for Dragon Ball Heroes.
Is it Heroes?
Yeah, it's Dragon Ball. Yeah, it's like, is it?
I guess we're just testing it out right now. We don't really know. Yeah,
we're there's like 7 episodes out, and we have them all downloaded. Plus, somebody out there has all of them bunched up into one video. So maybe I'll play that and put it as a premiere.
Yeah, because we're just kind of testing out how much we can push YouTube, because shit happened before.
Yeah, before shit gets flagged off. So look out for that in the future too. So any of you guys who are Dragon Ball fans, you can come in, watch the video with us, and kind of chat about it and see what your thoughts are, and then we'll do a review, in a video coming up. All right, guys, that's the end of that, and we will talk to you guys later.
Oh, the gout.
Have a good day, guys.